Hey guys, it's your girl T, and I want to go ahead and shout out Brett Larch on Facebook. This story is sick, and it's coming out of our favorite state, Ratchet Florida. So what's going on is that there's this couple. This story's been going on for a while now. I want to kind of do an update on it because I've been kind of keeping up with this story myself. It's about a 29-year-old woman from Florida named Sarah Alita. So she had gotten married to her husband, Jonathan Alita, and he basically made her promise that once they got married, that he would allow her to have sex with their daughter. So she got pregnant with her daughter and her son, so that way they could sexually molest these children. So this had been going on for a few years now. The daughter's about 5 or 6 years old. Once she gave birth to her son, then at that point in time, Sarah was expected to start sleeping with her son as well. So the reason why this case is so crazy is that Sarah and the man end up getting divorced. So he ends up moving to Oklahoma, and he finds a 23-year-old girlfriend, and her name is Samantha Bryant. So Samantha Bryant has a 4-year-old daughter. And Jonathan tells Samantha that in order to keep him and keep him satisfied, Samantha needs to allow Jonathan to sleep with her 4-year-old daughter because Jonathan's not able to sleep with his daughter who's down in Florida. So like this low self-esteem having ass bitch Samantha is, Samantha okays it. So the only reason why Samantha was caught is that the daughter went to go stay with one of her relatives for the weekend, and the daughter kept complaining about yeast infections. So the relative ended up taking her to the doctor, and they found out that she was being sexually molested. So now Samantha has been sentenced. She was sentenced back in June, and Samantha is doing 45 years in prison. Sarah, the mother who gave birth to her child in order for her husband to sexually molest her, Sarah was given 54 years in prison. Jonathan goes to court next month, which is going to be in December, and they'll be sentencing him at that point in time. I think Jonathan needs to go pay old Sparky a visit down in Florida, being that Florida has the death penalty. This situation is just sick. I'm going to go ahead and play you guys a small news clip, and then I will come back with the rest of
New tonight, a local woman arrested on child pornography charges, and how it was happening is what makes this story even more disturbing.
Yeah, that's right. The FBI confirms not only is she accused of sexually abusing the children, but also recording it and then sending it out on the web. Amaka Ubaka is live in Oviedo tonight. So, Amaka, where was all this happening?
Well, Guard, it's not very far from here. It's just down this street in her home. Neighbors tell me 28-year-old Sarah Alita was raised in that home her whole life. They say she was homeschooled, very religious, and a sweet but naive woman who they still can't believe was arrested for child pornography.
I'm just in speechless shock right now that my neighbor does that.
Neighbors stunned by the news. The 28-year-old Sarah Alita, seen here, was arrested by the FBI on child pornography charges. Agents made the arrest at this home in Oviedo after learning Alita allegedly sent images of herself sexually abusing children to a man in North Carolina. That man was later arrested for having sex with the child.
It's a kid, and you know that that's not right. I think it's disgusting.
The FBI confirmed that Alita used Skype, email, and her cell phone to send images of the sex acts. Alita, a UCF student, reportedly admitted to agents she started producing child porn a year ago. Cheney Mills, a neighbor, says Alita would volunteer to babysit her kids, but Mills felt something just wasn't right.
And I feel so good that I went with my gut and never let her watch my kids.
Now, Guard, I spoke briefly with Sarah Alita's father tonight, and it's clear that he's still in shock. He says he has no further comment to make over his daughter's arrest. Guard.
Okay, so you guys just watched the news clip, and the news clip does not go into as much detail. And I also find funny is that the news isn't really following up with this story, like the news reporters. It's mainly the blogs following up. So that's the reason why I'm making this video, so let y'all know that as women, we need to have a higher esteem about ourselves. First of all, for a woman to give birth to her children for no other reason than to please her husband sexually, so her husband could sexually molest her children, is sick. There is no coming back from that. I don't care how much of a good Christian they want to claim that Sarah is. That is some evil, despicable shit. This bitch not only allowed her husband to molest their daughter, she also engaged in it with her son and her daughter, and then had the nerve to be running a pedophilia line. This is why you cannot trust any and everybody with your children. And I'm so grateful that that neighbor said that she had a gut feeling that something wasn't right, and she never allowed her neighbor to watch her kids. Everybody's not your friend. Everyone is not trustworthy to be around your children. Folks need to be real, real careful. You know, this is some crazy shit, and you have to be open and have an open dialogue with your kids about molesters, child predators. It doesn't matter if it's the teacher, the neighbor. There's too many folks out here willing and ready to harm a child, and it's just crazy. And another thing that just pisses me off with this story is this Samantha woman. So you mean to tell me that there's no other guys in Oklahoma that you can be with who would not put you in a position to allow them to hurt your child? You know, how crazy is that? I mean, I don't understand the mentality. When a guy tells you to choose between them and your child, as a woman, as a mother, you're supposed to tell that dude deuces. I've had guys put me in the same position. They want to be with me, but they don't want to be bothered with my kids, or they're not ready to be, you know, a male role model or be there for my children. Well, you know what? Deuces. I'm not going to have anyone around me or my children. We're a package. And if a guy thinks that they can disrespect my children, all the while being in my face, that's not an option. I'd rather be single than keep a nothing-ass dude, you know what I'm saying, and put some man before my kids. That's sick. You have too many women out here who are so quick to put other people, other men, who are not even the fathers of their kids, before their child. Why the hell would you allow a man that you've only known for a short time to molest your child? That is your child. I mean, I think I'm more disgusted by these women, because all he can do is just throw the idea out there. All he can do is ask. But for the women to okay it, this is crazy to me. This is insane. And this is a pedophilia ring that was literally going on across the country. It started in Florida and somehow wound its way through the Midwest. And I'm sure that there are other victims, other kids who are being affected. He's probably dated several women and talked them into allowing them to molest their kids. Your self-esteem should not be that low. You should not be that fucking desperate to keep a raggedy-ass dude that you're willing to allow this dude to sexually molest your child. This is some sick-ass shit. This whole story just pissed me the hell off. I'm going to go ahead and post the links down below where you guys can read the story in details, because, of course, the news is not following up with the story as they should be. I can't wait to see what happens to this man. I hope he ends up getting the death penalty, because this is sick. You know, and how do these kids function? You know, these are kids that now have to go into society who have been literally from the time that they were born, been molested. So they're thinking that this is how life should be. This is a normal relationship, to sleep with my mom and my father. How do you know, what happens to these kids now? They're going to need some serious therapy, because for their whole lives, they've been sleeping with their parents. This is some sick shit. I mean, it just boggles the mind how people come up with these ideas and how women ride with this shit. If I have to sit there and put another man before my kids, I'd much rather be single. Ain't nobody got time for that bullshit. Anyways, go ahead and leave a comment. Let me know your thoughts on the entire situation. All right, deuces.